Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I'm coming back at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. Hidden. Got it turned off. Okay. All right, guys. This is going to be a very special video, especially for you guys that have been following along with my Marshals and Generals. It's a new year. Happy New Year. I've been working on this for the last year or so. I thought I might have it ready by last August to show it off at NashCon, but I pretty much have completed it pretty much in version 2, or I should say version 0.2. But I've had a change in philosophy, and I'm going to do it a lot differently going forward. And so we're changing to version 0.3, and you can see that right there. I got a little Marshals and Generals, which is MAG, which is, I'm calling it MAG Light. Inside joke. But it's going to have a lot of MEG rules in it. As you can see on your screen there, on the right side, right below my ugly mug, you can see that I've got the MEG QRS up so that we can reference it. Because today, what I want to work on is the shooting modifiers and the combat modifiers. I want to hash that out a little bit. And that's what we're going to do today. If you hear coughing in the background, that's my son. I think he has the same kind of cough that my wife had. He passed it on to me, and I guess we passed it on to him. So I'm taking a little bit of this Alka-Seltzer, or what do they call it, cold and cough, and that's really helping out quite a bit. For me. Okay, so before we even get started with the modifiers and stuff, I do want to, okay, first of all, this is my rule set, right? This is all version 2, 0.2, and we're going to go through, and I'm going to have to change all these pictures out. I'm going to have to change all the modifiers and everything, because you can see in these pictures I'm still using the 20 by 30 4-figure bases, which is what I thought I was going to go with, but we've decided to switch to the linear 40 millimeter bases. Okay, and command and control, just looking at this chart, just looking at that picture and the way I've got the lines and the organization and stuff like that, how you communicate to your brigades and stuff, it seems a little bit confusing to me. It's not. It's really not confusing, because you can hear, or you can see, I can hear my son just constantly coughing in there. But from a core perspective, how to command a division, but he's also going to have multiple divisions and stuff like that, and how to command. Well, I'm gonna reevaluate the whole command and activations system. Now Now I might jump around a little bit, just as we do this. This is the way my mind works. This is how I work through problems. I jump around and I find all the solutions until I finally get it narrowed. So just bear with me if I jump to another subject or if I jump back and forth between things. Just understand that. But the activation system, I'm debating on whether or not I want to roll dice or pips and then spend pips on units, right? So I do want there to be a variable command, okay? And in Meg, they use cards, and you draw these cards, and a number of cards based on your command rating, and it could go from 0 to 5, 0 to 4, I think. I don't remember. Because I think, yeah, you got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? You got black, white, green, yellow, and red. And you get to draw a number of cards based on the quality of your general. And then you spend those cards for actions, which right here, they're color-coded. Every action you perform is color-coded. We're not doing that today. I'm not going to work on that today. We're working on the firing and the combat. I just wanted to kind of share it with you that I've been thinking about using dice instead of the cards. I have a set of dice that are called averaging dice, and they go from 2 to 5. They go 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and 5, right? And so you'll get an average number of somewhere between 3 and 4. And you will not get any extremes like 1s and 6s. Now, I've been thinking about using those averaging dice for command. And you get a number of dice equal to your command rating, right? So like a mediocre general might roll 1 die. Or he might roll, so he'll get a 3 or a 4, but he might get a 5. He might get a 2, where the next level general up might get 2 dice, and then 3 dice, and then 4 dice. And then what that does is, once you roll that dice, it gives you a number, a total number, and then you expend those pips on actions. Because I believe that almost every army has drilled line troops, right? And they've got drilled or, drilled light troops. Now, there might be militia which are not drilled. They might just be considered formed, which I can kind of see that. But I think instead of colors, when it comes to these orders, I don't think I need to have 4 different columns here. Remember, I'm trying to simplify things. I think all I need is no columns, and just assign a number, how many pips it takes for you to do that. Anything that's white would be 1 pip, or maybe, let me rephrase that. Anything that's green might be 1 pip. White might just be free, right? And plus, I'm going to change these. They're not going to be the exact same type of movements, but so the possible things you can do are going to be a little bit different. It's going to be abbreviated. It's going to be like half that many. And some things will be free, some things will cost 2 pips, right? Some things will just be the standard 1 pip. So hypothetically, let's say I've got a division general that's a normal division general. Let's say he's rolling 2 dice, and on the average, he's going to roll a 7, right? So he can move 7 of his battalions individually. Just assign 1 pip to 7 battalions, and they get to do their thing, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. If he rolls a 10, then 10 of his battalions, if he's got that many, can do their things. If he only rolls 2 2s, then he's basically can only move 4 of them. And then I'm going to give brigades an opportunity to do a group. It's going to be called a brigade move, where it costs 1 extra pip. So you pay a pip to the brigade, then you pay a pip to the action, and so with 2 pips you can move your entire brigade if they're together, if they're close enough to the brigade commander. And I think that's the way I'm going to do it, but I don't know. I might still draw cards. I might still have orders like that. I don't think so. I think I want to try to streamline it a little bit. Okay. Now let me close these windows because I want to show you what I got on the table before we dig deep into this. And if you want to chat with me, you certainly can. I've got my Twidget up, which should upload any chats that go into the chat. If there's no viewers, I don't even have that up. I don't even have that window up. It's closed. So if you're watching this later or something like that, welcome to chat with me in the comments as well. Okay, so I want to close these so that you can see what's behind these screens. I'm going to make sure my camera's not all jacked. That's really where I wanted the camera. All right, so before we get started, I just want to show a couple of different things off. And I might be bumping into the camera. My chair one of the wheels might be bumping the tripod leg or whatever. So just live with me, okay? Okay, so my French Second Corps artillery, I've got all of them rebased. Okay, and as you can see, they're on 40 by 40 bases. Apologize. Turning off the autofocus. Yeah, I should focus it before I turn it off, huh? Okay, it looks like it's focused. It's hard to tell. But, so I rebased all of them, marked them, what division they're from and stuff like that. And then these are the old limbers, right? These are the old 30 millimeter wide limbers, which were perfectly fine for the 30 millimeter artillery pieces. But since I went to 40, I decided to go with 40s. And I've got a few more here for the these 3, which still need to be done. This is the new basing method for the cavalry, right? We got 3 figures on each base, and they're 40s. They're 40 millimeter by 30s. And then the brigade commander and the division general does not need to change. Those don't need to be rebased. I'm going to keep these on 30 millimeters, and I'm going to keep these on 40 millimeters, right? So that's a 40 millimeter base. Now it can be square or round. That's up to the player to decide, or, you know, the owner. But I make my officers round so that they are distinguished from the units. Now in Meg, I make the commander square because sometimes you need more than just these two figures. You need a number of different figures, and it varies. So, so this is a brigade commander, and this is your division generals. Okay, and then the infantry is mounted on 20 by 40s, right? So that's an infantry unit in line, right? Beautiful. And then there are these skirmish units that, or tiny units, I should call them, which are only 2 bases, because a small unit would look like that, right? And a tiny unit is going to look like this. But I'm not going to, I'm not, okay, this is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to put them on 40 millimeter squares. I've decided that. They're going to be on these size squares instead of this, right? These were 30-30s back when infantry was 20. I'm going to keep them on the 40 millimeter frontage, but I'm going to give them a 40. They're going to stay square, so they're going to be 40 by 40s. But that represents a unit that's always deployed in skirmish, and that would be this tiny unit of 2. That would be accurate. Now, I mistakenly took this Jaeger Corps and I mounted them on the same bases. Now these are old bases. These are not new bases. And even though there was 4 stands, a small unit, I still based them on the 30 by 30s. And I want to correct that and mount them like that. So when I rebase these, I am going to rebase them to a proper infantry unit and not be that skirmish bases. Now on these guys, the skirmish base, it's going to be the 40 millimeters, right? I think once I do that, these guys are going to be spread way out, right? They're going to be scattered around the base. It's going to look like they're all over the place. I mean, not in any kind of orderly fashion. They're going to be kind of like skirmish, right? But I've considered, and I think I might discard this idea, but I considered a 2-figure base or a 3-figure base, but a 2 or a 3-figure base would be based on something like that to make it look like a skirmish unit. But because I'm going with this giant 40 by 40, I don't need to change the number of figures because the base clues you in on what's going on. So I'm going to keep them with 4 figures because each base still represents about 100 men, approximately. Okay. So just so you know, that's going to be 40 by 40, and there's still going to be 4 figures. And then there is a standard unit. Now, with my buildings, okay, or my town sectors, as I'm calling them, sorry, remember, this does not represent one building. This represents a whole neighborhood, right? A bunch of buildings. But you just put one building to, because this, even though this represents 100 men, it's still only 4 figures, right? It's still only 4 figures, so 25 to 1. So just imagine this being 25 to 1. Like there's 25 buildings there, approximately. You know, probably not. Probably like more like 5. But still, there's going to be it's not just one building. It's a whole neighborhood of buildings. But I put them on these square bases so that when infantry is deployed in the building, you can just put them on the base. You don't have to the way the flag was sitting. You know, and so you can just put them in there scattered, and luckily the plan was for the 15 millimeter depth bases, but luckily I made enough room so that I could still put these 20 millimeter bases in there, and it still works out pretty good. So now this town sector is occupied by that infantry unit. Now, if it was a large infantry unit, there would be 2 extra bases, right? And so what I would try to do is squeeze them in somehow like this. You know, maybe I'll put 2 bases on the side over here or something. You know, but I basically made enough room so that there could be those 2 extra bases. And that simulates occupying a town sector. Now my Meg hills and fields and woods and all that could still be used in Mag, but I'm going to be playing scenarios and not specific or not tournament style games, so the terrain will always be bespoke anyway, so don't need to really worry about that. All right, so I just wanted to show you that. I am making pretty good progress. The cavalry is actually coming off pretty well, and rebasing those pretty easily. The artillery rebase is super fast. I was able to do all of these in one day. Now, this is another thing I wanted to show you right here. See if I can't really mess this up. Okay, I think you can see. What I've done here on these limbers, because when you mount your... Yeah, I've already popped that one off. When you mount your limber, you have to put it on the base, but of course it's not going to sit like that. Oh, you can't see. It won't. I adjusted where the focus was. It won't sit like this. It'll just fall flat, right? So to hold that to hold that bar up, what I did was I put a paper clip across their body there, so that when I put the limber on, it's the arm is resting on the paperclip. I thought that was pretty ingenious. I mean, I'm really proud of myself. I'm just so smart. And speaking of limbers in artillery, okay, so this is the limber artillery base, right? Okay, let's zoom back out a little bit. I wonder if I hit this and if boom, yeah, that worked. Okay. So this is the new artillery battery, right? Yeah, 6th Division artillery battery. And it would be deployed, you know, like that, firing. Now, this is also the size of the limber bases, which is 40 millimeter frontage, the same as my roads, by the way. My roads are 40 millimeters. That works out really well. 40 millimeter frontage by 80 millimeters depth, which happens to be the same depth as 2 cannons. So my limber can actually sit on the table with the guns just like that. And that would be their deployed formation. Okay, that's just some things that have been going on, but that's not shooting and combat and stuff like that, and that's what I want to discuss right now. Let's go here and here, and I'm going to spend some time. I don't know how much time, but I just want to spend some time trying to figure out the modifiers and stuff like that. Now I can, because we're not going to be looking at my table anymore, I can actually move this camera out of my way. All right, so when we go through these rules, I'm going to have to make some adjustments and stuff like that as we go through. But these are basically the table of contents right there. It's nothing super detailed. Now I might go in and add things to this table of contents. Remember, this is just an early version. I'm just taking notes, really. I'm not even really finalizing anything. Now the scale and basing we can talk about right now, and then we can skip everything until we get down to shooting. So there's the introduction, basically saying that I want a game that's going to be fast, fun, and playable. Play it in 3 to 4 hours. You know, I might have to go in and rewrite that a little bit or expand it. Now here's the basing scale for 15 millimeter. And here's the picture that I put for Corps and Army and Division. All that works. Okay. See, we've got a proc, and this some of this has not changed. Okay, so 4 figures a base. That's true. Approximately 100 men. 25 men per figure, approximately. Now, tiny units are going to be on 40 by 40s, okay, which I just talked about just a moment ago. Cavalry is going to be 3 figures per base. did I want to do about 100 men per base? I think I do. I still think I want it to be about 100 men per base. Is that right? 33 and a third? Oh, maybe I'll just say approximately 35 minutes. Approximately. Which filter is that?
That black one. I was gonna my room.
Okay. Is that the dehumidifier or the?
No, this is the black one. The all black one.
Okay, one gun plus.
She probably took the dehumidifier with her.
Yeah, she probably did. The gun is one gun plus crew, 3 to 4 guns. It represents approximately 3 to 4 guns. And it also is on a 40 by 40. Everything's pretty much going to be 40 by 40, 40 millimeter frontage. Right, the limber, right, is 40 by 80, so that hasn't changed. And this hasn't changed right there. 1, 2, 3, and 3 and 4. Yeah. Okay, so that's updated. And then these pictures are going to have to be fixed. Yeah, so small 4-4, 1 base of artillery. Medium is going to be 6 bases of infantry and 6 bases of cavalry. 2 bases of artillery. That's right. And then large is 8. I don't know if I'm going to do 8 bases of cavalry. Ever. Yeah, I don't think cavalry is going to have small units. It's going to have the medium, which is going to be 4 bases, which is going to have to, I'm going to have to retake this picture, right? And then infantry will be 8 and cav 6 bases. Yep. Okay, and again, I think I'm going to be, I know for a fact, I'm going to be using inches and not base widths when it comes to measuring. Yeah, 1 base approximately 1 company, 1 inch is approximately 50 yards, 1 figure, right, 2 bases, artillery battery, 2 to 8 bases, a battalion or cav regiment, standard battalion. Four or six. Yeah, these yards I'm gonna have to reevaluate because it's approximately 2 yards per millimeter. So if I was to take 6 bases and measure the frontage, right? And then if I take a cav unit, measure the frontage of 4 bases. Yeah, 2 guns would be 80 and 80, right? It'd be 160. No, wait. Yeah, 80 and 80 is 160 frontage by 80 yards depth. Yep, that would be the same. And then a limber would be 80 yards across the front by 160 yards. Yep, that would be the same. Okay, so we'll get back to that. Ranges. Okay. I want my range. None of this is going to really change as far as I'm concerned. But this works out as part of the shooting rules. Muskets have a 6-inch range, and it's going to be inches, which equates to about 300 yards. Okay. Approximately 300 yards. And a rifle is going to shoot approximately 450 yards. Now, muskets and rifles probably didn't really, or I should say units didn't engage people at those ranges. But I'm going to allow it because it looks better on the table, and I'm going to justify it by saying that there are skirmishers deployed in front of units that that would okay, so as an anecdote, I'm going to put here units. Okay. But with a screen of skirmishers deployed to the front of units not represented by figures. These ranges would be more accurate. In addition, it just looks better. Okay. And then the cannons, I don't know if canister point blank 6 inches is I don't know what I want to do with that. Okay, maybe we'll get back to that. I'm thinking actually 3 inches. Like a very short. 300 yards for cannons canister, that seems reasonable. Actually, it does. If a cannon is shooting 24 inches, 1/4 of its range is canister. I don't think that's right. I think I'm going to go with 3-inch canister. Make it a very close point blank. Okay, now infantry move distances. This deployed, march, square, and all that. I don't think I'm going to have it. I'm not going to do that. But we're not worried about movement ranges right now. And the turn order, command and activate. I'm going to have to go through and fix all the command move orders, quick move. See, I was going to give fire as an order, but I don't think I should do that. I think firing should just be natural. It just happens if you're in range. And in my original set of rules, I was going to have a number of dice based on various situations. It was going to start with a default number of dice, and then the number of dice pool was going to go up or down based on certain situations. I'm not going to do that. There's not going to be a dice pool. And I'm not going to have forced formations like attack and march and square and all that. All right, shooting. This is what I wanted to work on. Muskets and rifles, carbines. Okay. I was thinking about giving certain cavalry units the ability to shoot. Now, I got 30 inches here, 3, 4, and 5. But up here, yeah, that's not 3, 4, and 5. Huh. I like 36 inches for a 12-pounder. Yeah. 24, 30, 36. I think I like that. So it's 2 feet, 2.5 feet, and 3 feet. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Infantry, but okay. I'm just gonna. Yep, that's gonna be a change. Okay, infantry battalion. Remember, there's no formations. We're not forcing formations anymore. So there's no inline or skirmish or any of that BS. So infantry battalions fire 1 die per file. You're in March. Do not fire. You're in square. Or deployed in a town. Fire 1 die per side. That's appropriate. Artillery batteries, when deployed, fire with 1 die per base. Cav with carbines, fire 1 die per 2 bases in the front rank. No, that was me doing modifiers for that. So we're going to get rid of that. Yep, there we go. Battalions, infantry or cav, doesn't. Yeah. Infantry and cav with carbine. Fire 1 die per file. Okay. Using D10s, I've decided that. Okay. Okay. Get that. We're going to go die color used is based on okay, looking right here, start with white dye and adjust color as below. I think I want my shooting to be a little bit more deadly. So I think we're going to start with green. Dye color used will be green. Green's a little bit more deadly. I don't know if the chart here shows it doesn't. Okay. And then these were to hit numbers that we're not going to use. Totally. And the modifiers. Yeah. So let's. Yeah, so there is a modifiers. First modifier is going to be skill of the firer. So, light troops, I'm going to give them an up. Or I should say, light. Maybe I should spell it like that. Light and elite. +1. Or I should just call it an up. Isn't that how you spell firer? Okay. There. Screw you, right? Okay. Skill of shooter. Now I'm looking over here and getting ideas off of this chart over here. Yeah, maybe you can. Shooter depth. Yeah, I wanted that, remember? So 1 rank is a down. Yeah, so if you only have 1 rank, now my question is, why did I need to have... There we go. Okay. If the target is artillery, no, I guess it's artillery versus battle wagons, chariots, and elephants, and then artillery shooting skirmishers. Artillery shooting skirmisher. Yep. Which I'm not going to say, because I don't have skirmisher deployed, so the only thing that I have is a tiny unit, because tinies are the ones that are always deployed in skirmish, right? Okay, so yeah, I like that. Artillery versus tiny is a down. Armor. Okay. Napoleonics. There is armor, but it's very rare. It would be like cuirassier and stuff like that. But muskets is not the same as throwing a javelin or shooting a bow. The artillery or firearms, that's not really a modifier. An up might be artillery shooting at... Okay. So artillery is getting it up just for shooting at anything but a tiny. That makes them pretty powerful. Artillery at point blank. It's an up. So you're getting 2 ups if your artillery is shooting at anything other than a tiny at point blank. Pretty interesting. I agree with all that. This has 1 base width, but the weapon. Cover, okay. So this line here says that a power bow gets a bonus versus cavalry, and chariots. Like the English one. Okay. We're going to go cover. Cover is a down. This says unless shot at by artillery. So this is saying you don't get cover versus artillery. Well, I disagree. This gives S result equals a wound if stand and shoot. Okay, I think I'm going to give the carbine a 3-inch range. Yep. 369 would be a lot easier to make a range ruler if somebody wanted to do that. Okay, the results, right? Arc of fire and all that. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk arc of fire. Um, fire is by unit, not file. Just find the right dice to roll and roll them all at once. Now this is, I don't want you to have to go, okay, this file is firing, he rolls a black die. This file is firing, he rolls a green die. This file is firing, he's rolling a yellow die. No, I don't want to do that. I want to just say, okay, well, this one's got a black, he's got a green, and he's got a yellow. Let's pick up the black, the green, the yellow. Let's roll them all and get a result. You don't have enough dice, like you only have 2 yellows and you need 3 yellows, just roll 2 and then re-roll 1. You know, simple enough. So how do you measure the range, right? Okay. Measure range by file. Okay. Closest edge to closest edge of target unit. Closest edge of file, closest edge of target unit. That would be correct. Fire arc of file is 45 degrees. And must be closest unit. I think that's good. And I'll have to show a picture about if you got a unit with a couple of units in front of it, some of your files might be firing at a different unit. Don't want. Or do I? Yeah, I do. Okay. Now, casualty. I can't. A skull removes a base and X applies a wound to the unit who wounds removes a base right? S and S applies a slow. Keep it. Okay, and S applies a slow effect of +1. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm going to do an over 50%. Okay. A unit is destroyed. A unit is removed when it takes a wound over half strength. So a unit of 6 bases would be removed when it loses 3 bases and takes 1 additional wound. Wood. No, wound. What am I talking about? That's losses. I'm talking about losing. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put that as part of destroyed, because whenever you then draw morale chit. Okay, because I plan to use the battle group morale rules where it's randomized, right? So you draw a chit for every destroyed unit, and then when you reach a certain amount of numbers on your chits, then you lose the game. Okay, does that shooting seem to work? Is green too strong? Especially for artillery. Gonna go up. Or square. I'm gonna do a bit more. For deploy. Okay. 1 rank, or if you're in square and you're firing out of a side, or if you're deployed, firing out of a side, down. Versus cover. Artillery at point blank, which is only 3 inches. Artillery versus other. Basically just anybody, it gets a free up. I like that. I want to give my artillery a free up. Might make them too deadly. I think it does. Take that out. Maybe consider that in the future. Okay, so artillery at a square will get enough. I'll give them that. Or should anybody at a square get enough? Yeah. Whoops. Yep, if you shoot in a march column, you get enough. Shoot at a square, you get enough. Lights and elites get enough. Yep. Okay. So far, so good. I like it so far. I think we got our shooting. I think we got our shooting nailed down. Only took a little while. Melee, I'm gonna just blow a casket, right? Yeah, I was gonna give him a move. I was gonna give him a charge test to be able to charge. I'm not gonna do that. I don't think. Oh, here's the kill wound special. And this is the dice ups, right? wish it showed on here, like, I know I've got a chart somewhere that shows me what's on each die. And there's a difference between charge combat and melee combat. Okay, I'm not sure how. Yeah. No, we're not doing supports like that. Not doing supports like that. Yeah, both sides roll a number of dice where their melee value to determine how many hits are given. That's not going to be really true. Both sides roll a number of dice. Both sides roll a die per file engaged. Plus any supporting files. Okay. Basically, when two units engage, we're going to adjust to make sure everybody's lined up neatly. And then if there's an extra file, because your unit's a little bit wider, that extra file will be considered a supporting element. How to determine the number of dice? No. That's not anything. Okay. Yeah. Units roll one green die per file engaged. With ups and downs. Okay. Yeah, this whole fallback and Scrum and breakthrough and all that. I don't know how we're going to deal with that. Okay. Okay. Okay, elites are going to get it up. Okay, elite versus other. You're going to get enough. Okay, so with that, what I'm trying to imply here is you're comparing the skill quality of okay. So now I have to try to determine how I'm going to do my skill qualities. I think I'm going to have elite, superior, we'll call them exceptional, or elite. I'm going to call them elite. Elite, superior, normal, militia. Maybe I'll call them regular. Militia, regular, superior, and elite. That's what I want. Elites versus anybody gets enough. Superior versus regular and militia. What? Gets enough. Other versus. Okay, maybe I should just reword this. Because the way they've got it here is each level better quality. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Save myself this whole rigmarole. Okay. Each level better quality. You get enough. But there's also going to be a down, right? Oh, okay. Let me rephrase that. The ups and downs will be compared. That's right. So if I have 2 ups and you have also 1 up, then technically the fight is 1 up in my favor. Okay. Okay. That's exactly right. Because looking right here, it kind of shows that if you're equal or if you're only 1 level up, everybody's rolling a green die. Where if you're 3 levels up, then I'm rolling a red die, but you are down, so you'll be rolling a white die. If you get to 7 ups, you're rolling a red die plus a second red die, and your opponent drops to a black die. That's horrible. You're just going to crush him. But I believe quality is one of the only thing that's really going to affect whoops. Okay, we're just doing charge. Each level better quality. Okay. Now Cav. Um, hey, these won't apply. Yeah. Okay. Okay, there's claims down here. Okay, yeah. That I was like, why does it not show that? Claims. Um, you're gonna have like Spears or Lancer. +2. Okay, there we go. Lancer Cav versus non-square +2. I might want that to be bigger. Other Cav. Heavy Cav? Is there heavy and medium? I'm just going to say other Cav. Versus non-square. I might put heavy Cav in there somewhere. I might add that to the Lancer. Lancer and heavy Cav. I don't think so. Defending uphill. Yep, charging uphill will slow you down. I get that. Versus tiny, because that's really skirmishers. You're going to get a +2. Oh, this is a good way to figure it out. Per rank over 1. No, I don't want to give you a +1 for having 2 ranks. Something different. Sure. One rank file -2. How do you like that? It's going to make you want to be in 2 ranks. Whoops. Three plus rank file +1. Here we go. I'm with that. Okay, so 2 being, I might even just put it in there. Two rank file +0. Kind of letting you know that's the default. But if you're 1 rank, you get a -2. If you're 3 ranks, you're getting a +1. Yeah, I don't have any devastating chargers. Except I think heavy cav, like I think I'm going to, when it comes to assigning stats to the different units, I think my cuirassiers or heavy cav units, maybe dragoons, probably just cuirassier. I don't know. I don't know who I'm going to give devastating chargers to. Devastating? What is it? What am I typing? Yeah, so devastating chargers. Yeah, devastating charger is going to get a +2. So it's going to be kind of like a Lancer. Maybe I just give them a +1. I don't know. Because, like, cavalry here, it says devastating charger. If in 2 ranks themselves, +1 versus any except square. Yeah. So let me kind of 2 rank devastating charger versus non-square. Yeah, so devastating charger won't be as good as a Lancer. But what about other cav versus non-square? Are they going to get that and that? Let's see. Cav. Yeah, they get a +1 general claim, and then they might also get charging a Lancer. Okay. So it's going to be in addition to that. I'm okay with that. What about the defenders, though? And yeah, they get it versus cavalry. And I don't have, like, in Napoleonic, you don't have pikemen, you don't have, you have squares. Um, yeah, tug versus tiny +2. I don't know about that combat shy. Barricades. Okay, hang on. Or obstacles or stakes. Okay, so it's basically any cover is what I'm going to make it happen. Defending cover versus foot/cav +2/+4. I like it. So what about a square versus infantry? I think that should be pretty bad. Not debilitating, but bad. In square versus infantry. -1. Everything's an up, so I'm going to do this. Versus infantry. No, wait. Infantry versus infantry in square. Makes it a +1. Yeah, and remember, a skull removes a base, an X applies a wound, 2 wounds, and an S will apply something different. Right. There we go. Yeah, there's not going to be a fallback. Might be a breakthrough cavalry. Okay. I was getting it. Okay. I think that when the cavalry slams in, they have a chance to destroy a unit. If they don't destroy the unit, they'll just bounce back. But if they destroy the unit, they have a chance to continue on. I think. That's what I'm talking about with my breakthrough. Oh, that there is a. Copy that. Paste it. That's all right. There we go. So melee is going to have a little bit less modifiers, as you can see, but a charge is on the turn that you move into contact. you have a charge. And then you stay and you fight, and then you go into a melee. And then melee is basically one side's not the defender. You're both basically occupying the fight. If that makes sense. Okay. Equality. Yeah, each level of quality is still good. Everyone's unprotected, so you're not getting a modifier there. Okay. Cavalry versus skirmishers. Does foot versus skirmishers get it? Oh. Yeah, we'll just leave that. Bending uphill, still a +1. Okay, defending cover goes down by 1. So in a melee, not as good. Okay, so is there any kind of lancer? Well, there's no such thing as a charging lancer getting +2. But there is something called long spear. So I think I'm still going to give them a +1. And then, oh, and I never did put general fighting, but that's not a thing. And I didn't talk about flank or rear either. Did talk about that. Okay. Versus a flank or rear. No, +4. In the charge, it's +4. But in a melee, it's only +2. Okay. There's no lancer versus non-square. Okay. Dang it. Yeah, and the terrain, that's a thing. It is a thing. Versus unit affected by terrain. And I'm not going to have anything that's badly affected by terrain. That's just concern of mine. Okay. Yeah, so basically that's the only modifier that doesn't apply anymore. Well, others versus square. Yep. Other cab versus non-square doesn't apply either, so cab doesn't want to necessarily stay. There's no modifier for devastating charges. And I have applied this as a modifier because I want to incentivize whoops. Yeah, there we go. Less modifiers. Okay. Each level quality depending uphill versus tiny. Infantry versus infantry in square. Continue to give them the bonus. Yeah, it basically will penalize them for being in square. Affected by terrain. If you only have one rank, you're getting -2. Okay. Yep, so far so good. Now, the S does not apply a slow effect. It's supposed to be a shove. Yeah, because remember, we're rolling all the dice at once. They wouldn't, and I don't want to just push one file back at a time. I just don't want to have my units kind of like that. I'm just going to move the whole unit back and allow the attacker to fill the space. How far back am I going to push them? 3 inches, maybe? 6 inches? Make it really devastating? 3 inches might be pretty devastating. Maybe it's a die roll to see how far you push them back. This says a shove. Unless in square. Or in cover. Okay, so if they're in cover or if they're in a square, they can't be shoved. Okay. I like that. I shove the whole unit. How far does it shove them? Oh, in Meg, it doesn't actually move the unit. You just apply a shove marker to them, implying, or you can, maybe it's one base width. No, I think it's just a marker to imply that the adjacent files get a minus. But I'm not doing it like that. See, I think it says melee expert. Might give a melee expert because I think I want to do some units. Yeah. Yeah, you have to be a non-expert. So if you got two melee experts, it cancels out. Now there should be a modifier versus deployed artillery. Versus limbered artillery and all that. Making it deadly to be versus deployed artillery. +1. Versus limbered artillery. Wait, wasn't there a versus a march column? Where'd I put that at? Did I not? Infantry and square, deployed artillery, flanker rear. Oh, I didn't put a march column on there. +2 in the charge versus March. +2. Okay. Casualties removed the same way. An S applies a shove to uh, 3 inches, a whole unit. Okay. When shoved, unit may press forward to maintain contact. Yeah, that's a may press forward. So you don't have to, but you can. Okay, I think we got all the combat modifiers. Well, not all of them. I'm sure there's a few more that I haven't thought about. Might have to work that out through some playtesting. Breakthroughs. Okay. A breakthrough. Okay. A breakthrough applies when a cav unit charges and removes a unit the cav unit may perform another charge into a new unit initiating a new charge melee round. Complete with a possible new breakthrough. Each breakthrough taken will add 1 wound to a unit. The unit. So take your, whoa, caps lock. Breakthroughs. There you go. I wanted to say judiciously, but I decided against that. And I think I'm going to change the draw 1 card for every unit destroyed. Draw 1 card for draw. Okay, those are all good. If they're not cards, they're going to be hits. When the hits drawn total meets the army morale value, the army retreats off the table and has been defeated. Each battalion will have a battalion morale value shown on the. Yeah. Cards numbered 0 to 3. Yeah, unit rosters, I was going to go through and like assign different types of units, give them stats. Okay, I think I've got the shooting and the combat pretty much squared up. Now, we didn't talk about movement and orders and the actual charge movement and stuff like that, but that's all going to be done under like orders and stuff like that. And we'll do that in a future video. All right, guys, thanks for coming out and checking out my first dev blog where I sit here and work out through the rules, showing you my thought processes and what's going on in my head, and trying to figure out how I'm going to like base the figures, and then how I'm going to deploy them on the field, and how I'm going to do command and control and give orders and morale and all that good stuff. So expect more videos like this to happen, so that I kind of share the development of my game, which is really okay. Just understand that I consider it my game, but it's not my sole thought process, because as you can see, I'm using a lot of information from Meg. I'm using information from Battle Group, Napoleon's Battles, Field of Glory, any game that's in the back of my head that I like their concepts or the way they did things, I'm going to put into my game. So I am effectively cribbing, taking bits and pieces from all these different games and trying to make one that I like. And that's the idea behind Marshals and Generals. All right, guys.